guys, ever heard of the 50-30-20 budgeting rule? 50% for needs, 30% for wants, and 20% for savings and debt? It's been the holy grail of personal finance for ages, promising simplicity and stability. But let's be real, it's 2025, inflation is wild, housing costs are insane, and a need versus a want feels like a philosophical debate every time you open your wallet. So, is this classic rule still your golden ticket to financial freedom? Or is it totally out of touch with today's economic reality? Grab a pen, because we're about to give the bare bones budget a serious, no-holds-barred reality check and figure out if it actually works for you in 2025. Let's dive in. Alright, so let's kick things off by laying down the basics. What exactly is the 50-30-20 rule? Well, it's a super popular budgeting guideline that suggests you allocate 50% of your after-tax income to needs, 30% to wants, and 20% to savings or debt repayment. Simple, right? It was popularized by Senator Elizabeth Warren and her daughter Amelia Warren Tyagi in their book, All Your Worth: The Ultimate Lifetime Money Plan. The beauty of this rule lies in its simplicity. Instead of painstakingly tracking every single dollar, it gives you broad categories to aim for, making budgeting feel less like a chore and more like a gentle guide. For decades, it's been a go-to for many trying to get a handle on their finances. 50% for needs covers all the non-negotiables: rent or mortgage, utilities, groceries, transportation, health insurance, minimum loan payments. Think of it as the stuff you literally cannot live without. Then you've got the 30% for wants. This is where the fun stuff comes in. Dining out, entertainment, subscriptions, hobbies, shopping for things you don't absolutely need but definitely enjoy. This category is all about living a little, finding that balance between being responsible and still enjoying your life. And finally, the golden 20% for savings and debt repayment. This is crucial for your financial future. It includes building an emergency fund, saving for retirement, making extra payments on high-interest debt, or saving for big goals like a down payment on a house. The idea is that if you stick to these percentages, you'll have a balanced financial life, covering your bases today while building a stronger future for tomorrow. It's an elegant solution, a beautifully packaged financial blueprint that promises simplicity and stability. But here's the million-dollar question we need to ask, especially as we stride further into 2025. Is this blueprint still relevant? Does this OG rule still hold up in a world that feels increasingly complex and expensive? Let's dig deeper and see. Okay, so we've established what the 50-30-20 rule is. Now let's fast forward to 2025 and hit it with a dose of reality. You guys, the cost of living has skyrocketed. For many, that 50% allocation for needs feels less like a guideline and more like a cruel joke. Let's talk about housing, shall we? Whether you're renting or paying a mortgage, it's probably your biggest expense. In so many major cities, rent alone can swallow 40%, 50%, sometimes even 60% of your income, and that's just rent. Add in utilities, which are getting pricier, and suddenly your needs bucket is overflowing before you even get to groceries. And groceries, have you seen the prices lately? A trip to the supermarket feels like a luxury expedition. Inflation is eating away at our purchasing power, making everyday essentials significantly more expensive. Then there's transportation, gas prices, car maintenance, public transit fares. They all add up. And let's not forget healthcare, especially in countries where it's not universally covered or where copays and deductibles are steep. Student loan payments are another massive burden for millions, often requiring significant chunks of income just to cover the minimum. I hear from so many of you saying, my rent is already 50% of my income. What about food? What about utilities? How am I supposed to fit everything else into that bucket? And you're right. For a huge chunk of the population, especially those just starting out, or living in high cost of living areas, or carrying significant debt, dedicating only 50% to needs is simply not feasible. It forces people to make impossible choices like cutting back on healthy food to make rent or skipping necessary doctor's visits. The financial landscape has shifted dramatically since this rule was first conceived. Wages haven't always kept pace with the insane rise in essential expenses, so while the intention of the 50% for needs is sound, to prioritize essentials, the reality of what constitutes 50% of an average income in 2025 often leaves people feeling defeated. It's not that the rule is bad, it's that the world it was designed for has changed, and our budgets need to adapt too. Now let's talk about the 30% for wants. This category is supposed to be for discretionary spending, the fun stuff, the things that bring joy but aren't strictly necessary. But here's where things get super blurry in 2025. What truly constitutes a want anymore? Is your internet bill a want? For many, it's essential for work, education, and staying connected, arguably making it a need. Well, what about streaming services, Netflix, Spotify, Disney+? For some, they're pure entertainment. For others, especially those living alone or on a tight budget, they might be their primary source of relaxation and mental health after a stressful day. Is that a want or a subtle need for well-being? The lines are getting thinner than a credit card statement after a shopping spree. We also live in a highly digital, social media-driven world. The pressure to keep up, to experience, to show off is immense. That new gadget, the latest fashion trend, that Instagrammable brunch, these are all wants, but they come with a hefty psychological price tag if you're constantly feeling like you're missing out. The treat yourself culture, while sometimes healthy, can easily spiral into overspending if not managed carefully. And then there's the experience economy. People are prioritizing experiences over material possessions, which is great, but those experiences, concerts, travel, unique dining, often fall squarely into the wants category and can be very expensive. So if your needs bucket is already overflowing because of 2025's high costs, what happens to your 30% wants budget? It gets squeezed. People either feel guilty for spending on things that bring them joy, or they overspend and dip into their savings, creating a vicious cycle. We need to critically reevaluate what we categorize as a want and ensure we're not just mindlessly spending, but consciously allocating funds to things that truly add value to our lives without succumbing to external pressures. It's about intentional spending, not just arbitrary categorization. Maybe for some, a gym membership is a want, but for others, it's a need for their physical and mental health. This category really highlights the need for personalization and self-awareness in our budgeting. All right, we've dissected the 50% for needs and the 30% for wants. Now let's talk about the super important 20% for savings and debt repayment. While 20% is a fantastic starting point and a healthy minimum, in 2025, for many of us, it might just be the bare minimum, not the optimal target. Think about it. Are you saving for retirement, a down payment on a house, aggressively paying off high-interest debt like credit cards or personal loans, building a robust emergency fund that can cover 6 to 12 months of expenses? For any of these goals, especially if you're trying to accelerate your financial freedom, aiming for more than 20% is often the smarter play. Imagine if you could put away 25%, 30%, or even more. That extra percentage point might seem small, but thanks to the magic of compound interest, it can make a massive difference over time. Your money starts working harder for you. And if you're saddled with high-interest debt, every extra dollar you throw at it can save you hundreds, even thousands, in interest over the life of the loan. So, how do we get there if the 50-30-20 rule feels like it's bursting at the seams? This is where we move beyond rigid rules and start crafting your personal budget blueprint. The 50-30-20 is a guide, not a dictator. You might find that your needs are genuinely 60% right now, and that's okay. This means your wants might need to be trimmed to 20%. still leaving you with that crucial 20% for savings. Or perhaps your needs are lower, allowing you to supercharge your savings to 30% or more. The key is flexibility and customization. Consider alternative budgeting methods too, maybe the zero-based budget where every dollar has a job, or the pay-yourself-first method where savings are taken out automatically before you see the rest of your paycheck. Perhaps a four-wall budget focusing on the absolute essentials first. The point is to find what resonates with your current financial situation, your goals, and your lifestyle. Your budget should be a tool that empowers you, not restricts you. It should adapt as your life changes, not stay stuck in a formula from a different era. Regularly review your spending, adjust your categories, and be honest with yourself about where your money is going. The best budget is the one you can stick to, the one that serves your aspirations. So, take the principles, but make them your own. It's time to build a financial strategy that is truly you-proof and future-proof. So there you have it. The 50-30-20 rule? It's a fantastic starting point, a foundational blueprint. But in the ever-evolving landscape of 2025, it's clear it needs some serious customization, some personal tweaks to truly fit your life, your income, and your unique financial goals. Don't be afraid to adjust those percentages, redefine your categories, and embrace a budgeting method that empowers you rather than restricts you. Your financial journey is personal, and your budget should reflect that. The goal isn't just to follow a rule, it's to build a resilient, adaptable financial life that gives you peace of mind and propels you towards your dreams. Remember, consistent effort and a willingness to adapt are your superpowers here. So go forth, apply what you've learned, and make your money work for you. If you found this reality check helpful, smash that like button, subscribe for more financial wisdom, and let me know in the comments below. What does your ideal budget look like in 2025? What are your biggest budgeting challenges? I love hearing from you. Until next time, keep crushing your financial goals.